Good morning, everyone. Got your coffee? I've got mine. So listen, I don't have anything specific I want to talk about today, but before I say anything, I need to say thank you. I need to say thank you to Faye. Faye, thank you so much for your support of the Library Pantry. And I need to say thank you to Vita as well for your wonderful support of the Library Pantry. Thank you so much, Vita. And Garrett, just always so supportive of the Library Pantry and what we're trying to do over here for the community. And then to Nicole, friend of the pantry, longtime friend of the pantry. Thank you, ladies, so much. Our pantry, it has been busy. It has really been busy. I usually don't do senior bag pass outs, but once a week, sometimes not even that. But I had to do them Wednesday, and I'm going to be doing them again later on today because people are requesting them again. So we'll be doing that a little later on today. In the meantime, in between time, if you're over in the village, over on Facebook, did you see the video that I posted of the kids discovering the puzzles? I'm happy about that. We've had puzzles in there before, but not like this. These are I don't want to say nicer because I don't want anybody that has sent in puzzles to feel bad, but these are we just invested a little bit more in these puzzles, and in order to get the kids' attention. I think that jigsaw puzzles are a great way to use critical thinking skills to engage those skills, and so that's why I wanted to focus on jigsaw puzzles. And so because of the reaction that I got, I ordered a few more. So thank you so much. I really appreciate being able to do that for them. Anyway, listen, I didn't tell you all a lot about my trip to Detroit. I did members. I still haven't uploaded those videos of us approaching the tunnel and then going over the Ambassador Bridge. I will be posting those as soon as I can figure out how to import them from my husband's phone to my phone. At the end of the day, you might just get a video of a video. But for those people who were saying that they didn't realize how close Canada and Detroit were, I'm glad that you were able to see that video. I meant to make that members only, but I forgot to hit that members only button so everybody got to see that video. But I'm glad that you all are now educated on that. I've only been saying it forever, and I've only been trying to tell you all that I am a native Detroiter who has gone back and forth to Canada for my whole life because of that very close proximity. I remember when you didn't need all of that documentation to go back and forth like that, but that was before 9/11. Anyway, when we went there, we went through the tunnel on the way there. That's the way that I prefer. I don't like the bridge because I don't like all that, the idea of looking down at all that water and I'm going over that bridge. I have issues with that. I have issues with heights. I got issues, child. But anyway, I just drove while my husband filmed, and I don't know, when you ask men to do things, it never that's the reason why I haven't posted those videos yet. And then he's still supposedly looking for the one where we were going through the, not through the tunnel, but yeah, basically through the tunnel. He's still looking for that one. I suspect it didn't record, but hopefully it did. We at least got the video where we're approaching the tunnel so that you can see what that looks like. Anyway, when we were going through the Canadian side, we came across the Border Patrol agent. She was a real colossal, monumental bitch to us. She was. And then she made us get out of the line, y'all. She made us get out of the line to go. Well, actually, it wasn't a line. It was just us because it was the middle of the day on a weekday. So she made us get over. She made us go over to immigration. She made us, we had to, the car before us got searched, flipped and everything. That's what we thought was going to happen to our vehicle. It was a rental anyway. I didn't care. But that never happened. instead, I don't know what she said or what she marked on that paper, but it led the agent inside of the immigration office to believe that we didn't have proper documentation. Because in the end, when he let us go, after he checked our records and everything, and he let us go, he said, next time that you come here, just make sure that you either have a birth certificate or a passport. And so me and my husband are holding it up like, what the fuck is this? And then he's like, oh. So she was just being a bitch. Some people just power trip. But anyway, coming back on the U.S. side, it was a brother. He was so pleasant. I could have talked to him all day. He and my husband were talking about the Lions and everything. And my the Lions is the one, because we are from Detroit. That's the one NFL team that he kind of reads about and keeps up with and listens to the radio, because we don't watch NFL over here. Because we're still supporting Kaepernick. And we're not going to stop supporting Colin Kaepernick. We're just not. That's just one of those things that we have just dug in about. But anyway, speaking of NFL players, the hotel that we stayed at, by the way, I'll post some pictures of that. I didn't take pictures of it, but I'll post somebody else's video so that you can see what it looked like. It was called the Godfrey, and it was in Corktown near downtown Detroit. And right across the street from the Godfrey, there's this really famous bar. It's like Detroit's version of Cheers, and it's called Nemo's. And so by it being directly across the street from the bar, on Sunday, last Sunday, my husband and I decided that we were gonna go in there and have some drinks and everything and just chill for a little bit, because we were all done with the family and friends shit. We were over it by then. Remember, we got in late Thursday night. So anyway, we went to this bar, and this big, tall, white guy opened the door for me. And, and I didn't think anything of it. And he was like, please, after you. And I was like, oh, well, thank you very much. It was nice being in the North, in the blue state again, where the white folks are only a little bit racist and not a whole bunch of racist like they are here in the South. But anyway, and, and I'm not calling him a racist. I'm just saying that's how racism is in the North versus how it is in the South. But anyway, real nice guy, because I don't want anybody to sit up and say that I called Jason Kelce a racist. I didn't. Jason Kelce played for, I believe it was Pittsburgh, and he's the brother of that Travis Kelce, who is dating that singer, what's her name, Taylor Swift. They're engaged. Anyway, his brother just happened to be going into the bar when we were. And this bar is very, it's a part of Hockey Town tradition. So you saw all of the old Bad Boys, Pistons paraphernalia, all of the hockey championships when they won the Stanley Cup, all of those things, those news articles are framed all over the bar. And it's a part of the bar's decor. Really, really nice. And I think I had like 3 dirty martinis while I was there. And they were just in Michigan, of all states, because Michigan is very famous for their craft. They're very known for their craft beer. But Yuengling isn't a craft beer, but they just got Yuengling. So he just kept telling us over and over again, we got Yuengling on tap. We got Yuengling on tap. Well, we're used to Yuengling, here in the South. We have it here. But it is surprising that Michigan was just getting Yuengling when Ohio, the next state over, Ben had it. But anyway, when we were sitting down, my husband was like, hey, he's a football player. He plays for, and my husband, like I said, we've fallen out of football because of the whole Kaepernick thing. He's like, I forget his name, but he's a football player. So a few people went up to him and they took pictures and everything. And I was like, do you want me to just ask him? Because my seat where I was sitting, I was sitting right next to the person that he came with. And then he was sitting next to that person. And when the guy kept trying to sell us on the Yuengling, I was like, well, we live in South Carolina, and it's all around South Carolina. And then the guy, he was like, oh, really? I'm from North Carolina. And that was the guy that was with him. And he was real nice, and we talked a little bit, but I never did talk to that Jason Kelce. It was other people engaging him, because he was a pro athlete. I don't think he plays anymore, but his brother certainly does. But anyway, it was a real nice vibe in the bar, considering, there were only 2 black people in there, you know, so I'm not always comfortable with that. You know, I'm always like, let's leave. And I was one of the 2. But, you know, everyone was nice enough. The vibe in Detroit, obviously, is not like the vibe in South Carolina. You don't have that overt racism, you know, in the North, especially in a blue state like Michigan, like you do in a red state like South Carolina. It's just different. But anyway, one of the first things that I made sure that I got my hands on was a corned beef sandwich, because the corned beef was passing for a corned beef sandwich here in Columbia, South Carolina. I mean, I just, every time somebody says they sell a corned beef sandwich and I look at it, I just want to like call the police or somebody, because it's horrible. It's horrible. If you know, you know. States like Michigan, you know, the northern states, and, you know, cities like Detroit and New York, you know, states like New Jersey. If you know, you know. Them corned beef sandwiches, them delis, you could just only find it in the North. And so we went immediately and got big juicy corned beef sandwiches because I wanted that so bad. And then of course we went to American and Lafayette. If you know, you know. These 2 restaurants are right next to each other. They're both Coney Island restaurants, and they're famous for selling Coney Island hot dogs. Well, there's a rival. You've probably seen them. If you're not from Detroit, you've probably seen this rival on places like Man versus Food, because this rival is really famous, and it's like, who has the best Coney Island? Now, being from Detroit, I'm gonna just tell you the truth. It ain't American. The only reason why people like American is because American is in the name, and the restaurant is red, white, and blue, and it's all patriotic looking. They don't have the best hot dog. Lafayette has the best hot dog. I'm sorry. It just does. My husband is an American guy, and that's only because, and I told him the same thing, the only reason why you and everybody else like American is because American is in the name, and y'all are just so conditioned to think that anything that has American in it, because we're sold on this is the best nation in the world, and it just the fuck ain't. You know what I'm saying? You gotta like really like be able to get outside of that bubble and not look at the world through the lens of through that American lens. And once you deconstruct from that mindset and you realize that everything American is not better, you know what I'm saying? You can tell yourself the truth, and that is that Lafayette has the best fucking hot dogs. They just do. But I'm gonna tell you something as a secret. A native Detroiter, National Coney Island shits on them both. The food is better, the vibe is better, the dog is better. It's just better. I remember my girlfriend and I, my bestie, she lives in Michigan and in Detroit. And there was this one little hole in the wall place, this tiny little establishment. And they sold the best they sold 99-cent Coney Islands and 99-cent beers. And we used to go in there, and the vibe was so immaculate, especially on a rainy day in downtown Detroit. And it was it was on Woodward, right near Jefferson. And I forget the name of it, and I didn't have time to go visit and see if it was still there, but I hope it is. Maybe you Detroiters can let me know if it's still there and what the name of that place is. Real little tiny place, but they sold the best Coney Island dogs and had the best beers. But anyway, so I had a really good time in Detroit. I did. And there was this one night, Saturday night, at the hotel we were staying at. They had these. Now, the hotel was very, very diverse. It was full of blacks, Latinos, and whites. Black people kind of ran it. You saw black faces, at the concierge desk, the intake desk, valet. You saw mostly black faces there. Lots of non-English speaking Latinos in the service jobs. Hope that they stay safe. And then, you know, there were like a lot of white guests because it is, you know, and a lot of white servers in the restaurant. They have a restaurant down there called the Hamilton inside the hotel, and then they have this rooftop bar. And when we tried to go to the rooftop bar, we couldn't because they were closed for an event. But anyway, Saturday night, the lobby was swarmed by all these beautiful black people, y'all. And they were all dressed up to the nines, and they were wearing their Mardi Gras masks. And I was like, what's going on? You know, what's happening? And so I asked the server, because the servers were dressed too, and they were all masked and everything, and they were all wearing these long floor-length dresses and gowns and everything, and it was just real ritzy like. So I'm like, what's going on? And it was a murder mystery Mardi Gras event. I thought that was so cool, and everybody looked like they were having the best time. And I really wish I could have participated, because had I known, I would have bought a ticket or something, and I would have bought clothes. Had I known, it was just such a lovely event, and I just love to see black people just thriving and having fun and just being in community with one another in that way. It was really, really nice. All the white folks, you know, the white guests were confused. They were there for the Michigan State game. I forget who was playing, but one of them was playing. Anyway, Detroit, I like your new, speaking of Michigan State game, I like your new license plate, the blue and yellow. I hear that you have red and green for Michigan State, but I didn't see any of those. I saw everybody with just blue and yellow license plates, but good on y'all. But anyway, I had a really good time. Canada was fun. One of the things that my husband desperately wanted to do was to smoke a Cuban cigar. Cuban cigars, if you don't know, they're legal over in Canada. They're not legal over here in the U.S. So he went and got some of those, and then we went by the water and he smoked it, and we just had a really good fun time on the Riverwalk, the Canadian side. I took lots of pictures, watched the birds, the ducks and the geese and everything, and people were out on their boats fishing. In that video, I think you all can see, everyone can access that video. You saw how close Shane Park was. You saw how close the Detroit Renaissance Center was. You saw how close Detroit is. It's just a short little boat ride across the river. It's just across the river from one another. So it was a good time, and it was nice and fun seeing everyone having those Detroit experiences again. It took us a long time to save up for that trip, so we enjoyed every single minute of it. It wasn't enough time. Now I gotta say, for TSA not to be getting paid, TSA on the Columbia side, they were in great spirits, but baby, TSA coming back on the Detroit side, them people were not happy. They were rude as fuck. Rude as fuck. Coming back was a nightmare, by the way. It was a nightmare experience. It was easy breezy, smooth going to Detroit. But coming back, but I do appreciate LaGuardia Airport. LaGuardia Airport was so nice. It's something, if you're gonna have a layover, you want to have it at LaGuardia. It was so nice. The big water fountain in the middle of the airport. It's shopping, there are bars, it's music, it's restaurants, it was everything. People to help you navigate the airport, concierge services. I really enjoyed it. And then I enjoyed how the airport was situated. I mean, all airports, you can kind of watch the planes take off and land, but only in certain places. The way the airport is made and situated, it's just perfect to watch over that bridge, and looking out at the Empire State Building, and and the Chrysler Building, and seeing downtown New York, and the planes taking off and landing, and the sunset, because we got there kind of like about I don't know, maybe about 6 in the evening. So it wasn't quite dark outside and you can see the sun setting. And it was just beautiful. But then going into Detroit was too, because you can see it. You talk about a starry night. Oh my God. The stars were just bursting in the sky everywhere. I took pictures of all of that. So I'll be posting those as soon as I can get a minute. But like I said, our little library pantry has been busy, so I've been busy. And then I have to do a bag run for seniors today. And then, you know, as soon as I get settled, I've only been able to do the pantry and then take all my clothes from my trip, wash them, dry them, fold them up, put them away. So I've been busy doing that. I don't like for my clothes to sit, you know, because you got to figure, I know I'm rambling. Hopefully you didn't stuck with me. But because you got to figure that when those suitcases sit, I mean, you're talking about dirty underwear and dirty socks and, you know, and then you're going to what? Next time you take a trip, you're going to put all that stuff back in there and pretend it's clean. I like to unpack that and deal with that as soon as possible. But I did appreciate coming home to a clean house. That's why I always do a deep clean whenever I go on a trip. I deep clean anyway, lots, but definitely when I'm getting ready to go on a trip. But anyway, that was my trip. I had a really good time, and I got all of your blessings, safe trip travels. The trip was frustrating coming back, that leg of it, but we had safe travels. I thank you for your blessings. I thank you for just your well wishes. I'm really thankful for this community because you guys really do keep me motivated. You know, it's a lot going on in the world right now. A lot of harm is being done here in America. And one of the ways that I deal with and I don't become overly depressed and I'm able to do this work is because of y'all. The way y'all love on me like that. It's some of y'all that I really do feel like, really close to some of y'all. I know y'all by name. I know y'all spirits. I see how y'all handle yourselves, and I see how you handle me, and I see how you handle your community, and I just really do appreciate it all. And I thank you for that because y'all keep me motivated. Y'all keep me strong, you know, and going, and I love y'all for that. Thank you. And thank you for making my life easier. Thank you for supporting the Library Pantry. Thank you for embracing our community. Thank you for helping other Black people. Just thank you. I'm so grateful for you. Just thank you. All of y'all. That's all that I have for today. With that being said, if you would like to support the Library Pantry, if you would like to support this platform, or just buy me a cup of coffee, I'll leave my Cash App and Venmo down in the comments. Y'all have a good day, a righteous day. Don't be nobody's problem today. If you have the opportunity to make life easier, even if it's by 1 degree for another Black person, do it. I'll talk to y'all tomorrow.